Here I'm standing in front of the Silly print shop, built about 1860, donated to Hart Square by Mary Silly, probably located about 12 miles from here near the Glenfry Hospital. It was moved in 1993. As we go inside, you'll see a Chandler Price, a late 1800 printing press. Interesting story is this was donated to the Catawba County Historical Society by Dorothy Abernathy from Georgia, and they wouldn't go in the front door. Luckily, my wife was the president of the museum at that time and called me and asked me if I would be interested in acquiring it. I had built the cabin, had not built the chimney, which gave it plenty of room to come in. I was there within 45 minutes, had it on my trailer, bringing it back to Hart Square. Put it in, some extra supporting under the floor. Today it's a very workable print press, and if you'd like to come in, I'll let Howard Wehunt show you a little bit about printing in the 1800s. As we open the door to the print shop, we have the only cabin that I've found over the last 40 years with its original wooden door lock. On the top it dates 1897. On the left wall, as you walk in, you see an early bench, a rare early corner chair. There's a beautifully 1800s wood block press along with a metal block press noted also in the same area, all dating from the 1800s. An adjustable printer's stool sits in front of the printer's type desk. On the desk are numerous types of wooden block print and also along with some metal print. Across the back wall are examples of both metal and wooden stencils. The main large press in this cabin is a Chandler Price press. It was donated by Dorothy Abernathy and originally came out of Georgia. In the far back corner is a print set cabinet with multiple drawers that hold different types of set, mostly metal. Over by the stove on each side of the chimney are several types of printer's ink still in its original bottles. A roll-top desk is seen with a lot of types of paper and printing accessories. Toward the window is another small printing press that dates cards mostly, and it dates 1863, along with other early items used in the shop for printing. There's a great story on white walls. I was visiting Upper Canadian Village and noticed one of the shops there, a printing shop, had beautiful whitewash walls. Applying the same technique to the one here, which to me whitewash was water and lime. Several years after I had applied it and having to sweep the cabin multiple times from stuff that was coming off the walls, an elderly lady in her 90s approached me while touring and said, "Dr. Hart, you should have used some alum in that whitewash and it wouldn't have fallen off those walls." And today I know the whitewash has to have a mordant alum to make it stay to the walls, just like you do when you do your clothing and dyeing your cloth.
Hello, I'm Howard Wehunt. I'm printer of this print shop right here. Come on in. We tell a lot of lies, but we print the truth. Come on in. Today, we're going to try to show you a little bit about how we set type up to print on this printing press. Normally, you don't get to see that when you come in. It's the press is running and that's it. Anyway, today we'll try to help you. Now, Bob has suggested that I tell you how I got into this printing business. It happened a number of years ago. In fact, the Second World War probably had a little bit to do with it. My sister was working at a newspaper in Lincoln. She was society editor and proofreader. And the press that they printed the newspaper on didn't have a folder, so us kids would come in and fold the paper like so. And twice a week they put the paper out, and they paid real good, 10 cents an hour. So twice a week, 2 hours, 40 cents a week, which is pretty good. And when I was 12 years old, you could go to the movie on that. Anyway, then sometime after that, they talked me into coming every afternoon and a half a day on Saturday. And like I said, the Second World War started, and the guy that was running the press, he was becoming aged to be drafted, so they started having me to run that press, the printing press, the big one, just trial and error, with a lot of errors, but anyway. And then when he got drafted, then I worked every day, afternoon and on Saturdays and all summers, and did that for a number of years. In fact, I worked there until I finished high school. What I'd like to do today is demonstrate how we go about getting the type set up in these chases, like this thing here, like this was printed on and then placed into this press and put ink on it and print it. Now these chases, I got one over here and one right here. They go in two different presses. You can have one as big as a newspaper. Where I started printing on that big newspaper press, it's as big as a newspaper. And everything in there had to be locked, had to be measured exact, not just close, had to be measured exact. So it would, when you locked it up, it wouldn't fall out on the floor. And I'll try to show you in just a moment how we do this. But anyway, it's like I said, everything is measured, and everything is set one letter at a time, and then measured to the length that you want, and locked up with what you call furniture around it. It's wood, special blocks. It's just correct sizes. I'll show you that a moment later. Now I'd like to show you how we place the type in a chase. This is called a chase. It's just a frame, metal frame, and you lock it up with coins that when you turn a coin key, they expand and put pressure against all this type. If it didn't, it'd fall out when you pick it up. Like when you take that over to the press, it'd all be in the floor. I guarantee it. Anyway, and this is a key, and that's why they call it a key, because when you lock it, like I said, it slides them pieces of metal together, and they get fatter and puts pressure against all this stuff, all this type. But every one of these lines has to be set exact. Now, in the printing, you don't use inches, you use picas. 2 points, 6 points, 12 points. And that, in other words, you measure that first line, and then you set the other line exactly like that. And it has to be like, or it wouldn't, when you lock it up, it wouldn't, you could mash it out. Anyway, the best thing to do when you pick one of them up is to test it by doing it like that before you move it. Anyway, right before you lock it up, you take this plain block and lay it on it, and tap it like that to make sure all the type is down nice and flat, so every letter will print with the same pressure, okay? And then when you take this form over to here, to this press, and drop it behind these rollers just right here, and it locks into this plat, okay? All right, you ink it up, and this thing will make this here will turn around one little notch every time the press goes up and down, like so. It'll move just slightly. That's in order so that it distributes the ink. Anyway, then when you get ink distributed, you go over and get your chase with your form in it, set it in there, and you crank it up, like so. And when those rollers go up, they're going to ink it, okay? They ink it twice, up and down. You take a sheet of paper and put it against those pins, and you pull this handle back, and that makes this touch that type. Now those rollers is rolling up over there, picking up ink, and then that disc turns around to distribute the ink. Anyway, and a lot of the women, when they take it out there, look at it and say, man, that's cool. But really, it's just a hot off the press.